Well, it's called a hidden disorder, but dyslexia affects nearly 15% of Australians. It's also called a learning disability, yet people with dyslexia are often able to take hold of the bigger picture. They're able to communicate well and have boundless creativity. In fact, some of them are the most successful people in the world.
Can I help you?
From movie stars like Tom Cruise, Keira Knightley and Vince Vaughn to inventors like Steve Jobs, creative geniuses and even Einstein, dyslexia affects more people than we know. Research shows people with dyslexia make very successful entrepreneurs and businessmen due to their leadership skills. Just look at Henry Ford, Kerry Packer, Walt Disney and Sir Richard Branson.
I had no understanding of schoolwork whatsoever. It was one of the reasons I left school when I was 15 years old.
Dyslexia is characterised as a difficulty with reading and writing, resulting in confusing words. And although there's treatment, it stays with you for life.
Still can't spell.
Still can't spell?
No. You know, I write on the computer, I hit spell check, and spell check literally yells back at me, "Are you nuts? You think I can figure that out?"
But dyslexics often have above average IQs, proving that instead of a limitation, it's often the key to success. Joining us for the Spotlight this week is Jodi Clements from the Australian Dyslexia Association and Brett Comerford, who was diagnosed with severe dyslexia 15 years ago. Lovely to see you both.
Good morning.
You're in good company.
Yeah, between two roses.
Yeah. And also within the dyslexic world, all those people that we've just seen. Wow, a lot of extraordinary people have dyslexia. You were diagnosed at 37.
That's right.
When did you first know, though, that there was a problem?
Basically, when I was at school, I knew I had learning difficulties because what the teachers used to say to me, a lot of problems with dyslexia is you don't get your words out properly. I was called dumb and stupid. My teacher did say to me one year 11 grade 4 that, "Comerford, you'll be no good, your life will, you won't achieve anything in life, all you'll be good for is painting white lines in the middle of the road. And when you speak words over a child's life like that, it affects them, their self-esteem, their confidence and their ability to achieve. And that I still remember that as if I said yesterday.
But then at 37, when you did get diagnosed and you got help, life just has gone, hasn't it?
That's right. When I was diagnosed at 37, I was starting university to become a school teacher. And the support came in then, which I'd never had before. And it did change. My life changed and now I'm a school teacher.
And you've got all these degrees and, man, is Brett one hell of a guy. Jodi, just explain about dyslexia. How does it actually work? What are some of the more common signs?
Well, I think first of all it's important to know what dyslexia is. And dyslexia is localised to written language. So they certainly have difficulties acquiring and using written language. So let's think reading, writing, spelling and getting thoughts to paper.
Right, it's also a lack of fluency.
Absolutely, we'd be looking at problems learning the letter names, difficulty reading single words, particularly off cards or lists, a lack of fluency in that reading as well, and a hard time with spelling accurately.
One of the things that we wanted to do in this segment was to break down some of the stigma that's attached with dyslexia and get the rest of us to understand it a little bit better. So we've got some examples of what a dyslexic person might read or write. Can you talk us through this if we bring it up? So the first one is, I have two friends who like blue. Okay, so how Brett and some people, not all people with dyslexia would see it exactly like this, but can we just bring up what this? So can you explain this, Jodi?
Yeah, well certainly what we see there, if we go to the word to and we notice that we've got T-O-W, we've got the same letters but in the wrong letter order. And this is something that we see a high percentage of dyslexic students do. There's a difficulty in being able to retrieve accurately the letter order of what we call irregular words. You'll notice that that word cannot be sounded out. It's a very tricky word. So we're seeing a weakness there in the letter order.
Okay, and perhaps we can bring up some just everyday signs that we might see. What do you see there, Brett?
I see, I know it's stopped because it's a red thing, but it's pots. Because the letters do swap, the front letter swaps to the end and it makes it pots.
Okay, and can we see another one?
Exit, I know it's an exit sign because it's green, it's above a door, but the the E swaps and the T, the I becomes a T, and it changes to text.
Right, so does that mean just, you know, you have had to actually expand your brain to a point where the rest of us dummies just go, oh, that's stop because it says stop, but you've actually had to work beyond that?
You process things differently. You have to work harder at it, and you look at things twice. Even sometimes you look at it twice, it doesn't change. It still has the same thing, but you put strategies in place to overcome that. And as you get older and wiser, you know what things are.
We've heard, we just saw in that setup story, some extraordinary people have dyslexia. What is it, but what's the common theme that perhaps makes them so successful? Why do they make such fantastic entrepreneurs, for example?
Yeah, well, I think a high number of dyslexics are forced in our education system to find alternate paths to their learning. And we know that when they're forced to find these alternate paths, it's creating different avenues. A lot of them compensate. So for something they're not very good at, they certainly make up in other areas through persistence, creativity, and a wonderful ability to learn verbally and visually.
And Brett, that teacher who told you that you were never going to amount to anything, you're now a teacher.
That's right.
How does it work then? Say if you're marking a child's spelling. Oh, there you are. That's you graduating.
That's me, yeah. That's my postgrad and special ed. I've got that next photo there. But what happens is when I'm marking, I do mark them words. They looks right to me, but it's wrong because I read it the wrong way. But then I have had students in my class who I've teed up with them. If I spell something wrong, can you make a noise? So they cough, and then I make it a game. Who else picked up my mistake? I did that on purpose.
So they can work with you. Fascinating stuff. Well done. How amazing have you done, Brett? And I know it was a big deal for you to come in today as well, because sometimes it's difficult to get your words out properly, particularly under stressful situations. You did fantastically. Thank you so much, and we will put all of the information on our website about the Australian Dyslexia Association, who do a free test. So if you want some more information on that, just head to our Facebook page. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Hey, also, I just wanted to bring up about our dyslexia conversation, and we had Brett Comerford in, and then he told me as soon as the segment was finished that he actually also suffered from a debilitating stutter. So for him to go on national TV today...
He's a great guy.
Yeah, and he said that he often then can find it difficult to get his words out. Just amazing.
Amazing.
He certainly nailed it. Well done.
Terrific. Lovely. See you guys tomorrow at 2 o'clock. You can follow us on Facebook in the meantime.